Explaining Kirara's curse technique, love Rendezvous from Jujutsu Kaisen. But first, special shout out to Abu for the sponsored video today. Thank you for the support, man. And also to all of my anime onlys. Obviously, this hasn't happened yet in the anime, but this isn't really spoilery. I'm just going to explain the technique without going into any narrative context. So you can watch this if you want. So at first glance, this technique is really complex, and that's kind of the strength of it as well, because opponents are going to have a really hard time figuring out what's happening. But once you break it down, it's really not that hard to understand. So first thing you need to know is that this is based on the Southern Cross constellation, which you can see over here to my right. So these are the names of the 5 stars that make up the constellation, but to make this really simple, we're instead going to refer to them as numbers. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in that order. So the way this works is Kirara can put a star on a target of their choice. Now again, we're going to use numbers here. So the number 1 through 5 on a target of their choice, but the target has to have a cursed energy signature, meaning you can't put it on an inanimate object unless you have like infused that object with cursed energy. Targets that are marked in this way must now follow a specific set of rules when it comes to their movement. So remember that order we gave to the stars? That's very important. That is the movement you have to go in. So if you are marked with number 1 and you want to get to somebody who's marked with number 4, you must first pass through number 2 and number 3. So if those were humans, you would have to first run and like touch that human, or if it was an inanimate object, you would have to run over and touch the stop sign if it was number 2. Then you can go to 3, then you can go to 4. If you disobey this rule, then everything that's marked with your same number is going to become attracted to you, like literally. So let's say a school bus had your same number and you disobeyed the rules. All of a sudden, that school bus is coming hurtling towards you now. So this technique is actually pretty strong, right? Because first of all, your opponent has to figure out how this works, which is much easier said than done. On top of that, they're going to have projectiles hurling at them if they do this incorrectly, like the school bus example I just said. But even on top of that, it can be used very strategically, like we can see in this panel. For example, let's say Panda is marked with the number 2 and this door is marked with the number 5. Panda can literally not approach this door because he first has to touch 2, 3, and 4. So it's almost kind of like Gojo's Infinity. Now, I'm not going to go there, so don't like start drawing that comparison. But similarly, Panda will never be able to approach this door if he doesn't first go touch those other numbers. Finally, just to touch a little bit more on how the mechanics of this works is signatures with the same cursed energy will have the same star on them. For example, if Megami had a star placed on him, all of his Shikigami would then have that same star. And the way the magnetation works is the one that has the most cursed energy brings the other ones to it. So in the school bus example, the school bus only has a little bit of cursed energy, right? Whatever was placed on it so that it could then have a star put on it. Megami would have way more cursed energy than that. So the school bus is going to come flinging at him. But, you know, if Gojo was there and both Gojo and Megami had the same star, Megami would fly toward Gojo. The only other thing I don't think I've mentioned yet is that Kirara must touch you in order to place a star on you. But other than that, it just basically boils down to this sequence here, this specific sequential order to the stars. So I hope that helps clear it up.